My name is Zachary Dickerson. I work for USA Today as an assistant district sales manager. I'm actually the fourth generation of my family to have the pleasure of working at Gannett, our parent company. My great-grandfather came to this country as a newspaper printer, and it's just got better since then. My grandfather started as a printer, worked his way up to management in printing. My father is deputy editorial editor at the Detroit Free Press. I grew up in a newsroom, and I joined USA Today about 8 months ago, and I'm really excited to be here. I want to talk to you a little bit about contracted labor. Who here has a business with more than 3 employees? Come on, let's see some hands. 1? No one else? No employees? Not 3?
I have contractors.
Oh, you have contractors. All right, so we're going to talk a lot about this. Okay, well, here's the deal with contracted labor at USA Today. About 10 years ago, roughly, we used to have employees that would deliver the newspaper. And they did so. They were very good at it. But we realized that we were running into a lot of liability issues when you have employees doing this versus contractors. When you have an employee doing it, they get into an accident, they cause some damage, we are writing a big check. And we realized that for our industry to survive, we couldn't keep doing this. We needed to contract the labor. So that's what we started doing. Pretty much what we've started doing instead of having regular employees is we have contractors. We have them sign a contract about this big. It takes hours to go over all of it. And we contract them to deliver the paper. And it's great for us because it's reduced our costs substantially by doing this. However, we have found that, and I have found, by some mistakes even, that there are some cons that come with this. You said you used contracted labor? Did you always use contracted labor?
Well, interestingly enough, I was taught that that was the best way to do it for my business.
And why did they tell you that?
Because it's cheaper.
Because it's cheaper, yes.
Cheaper, and liability is reduced pretty significantly.
Well, there is none.
So
all right. And
also, at the end of the year, I don't have to do as much paperwork.
Exactly. No more paperwork. We all love that, don't we? Yes? Okay. So when you contract someone to do a job, the terms of the contract are very specific. And when you, the best way to put this is that contract locks you in and you become a manager of a contract. And you really have very little authority about what they can do if it's not in the contract. Oh, I'm sorry?
I was just going to say, when contract labor, you can't tell them when they have to be at work, and you can't give them a computer to work with.
That is correct.
Everything has to be their own.
That is correct, but there is somewhat of a way around it. The contractors we use at USA Today are contracted to deliver the paper. They're contracted to deliver the paper on time and preferably not soggy, because everyone hates getting a soggy newspaper in the morning. So what we do is our contracts are written that they have to, well, in this area it's a little different because it's so rural. They'll meet a huge truck that comes all the way from Mobile to a bunch of different checkpoints. And how we did it in our contract is it's their responsibility to meet the hauler. And if they don't, they could risk having their papers stolen. And since they're reselling them, they'd still be on the hook, which is how we get them to be there on time. So yes, you're right in saying that we can't give them timelines because that would make them an employee. But there are ways around that, yes. So what we do is we have the contractors, and they distribute the paper for us all over. One of the big problems that we've found in this area, some other areas too, is how we do our contract labor is to make sure we don't lose out on profits since they're reselling the paper and paying us back as we bond them. And we also run a credit check, background check, all of that, of course. And the hardest problem we found in this area is the credit check. It really is detrimental to finding qualified applicants to do the routes. But, I'm sorry. But what I found using contracted labor is it has paid off, and because of it, you know, the newspaper industry is starting to decline thanks to certain web designers. But by using this, it really has been a lifeline for us and for our industry in just prolonging the amount of time and reducing the costs, because as our circulation goes down, our costs, believe it or not, aren't going down. Gas prices are rising. With less circulation, you still have a huge area to move all of these around, and it is a real logistical challenge, especially bringing the paper to, well, I wouldn't say Panama City is a rural area, but by no means a very large city, as I'm sure all of you know. And by doing this, we have managed to keep this area at a 77% profitability, which Florida, our market, is the best in the U.S. for profitability, and a huge part of that has been our use of contracted labor. It has really saved our company, I believe. Does anyone have any questions? Yes?
So we have a commercial press here. Why don't you guys print on our commercial press and distribute from here?
Well, we actually do print at a press that is not our own. We use the Mobile Register's facility. And the problem with using a press like the News Herald's press is just the volume. We wouldn't be able to print enough volume to justify the cost. It's actually more cost effective to print a extremely massive volume in Mobile. And then from Mobile, we're able to service Alabama, Louisiana, and North Florida that way. It just made a lot more sense to do it.
So your gas costs that it might.
Yeah, even with gas costs, though, by contracting with the Mobile Register, just the sheer volume shaved so much costs that it was cheaper that way. And since it's going to so many places, Mobile is a good central location because of all the highways intersecting.
Why does it matter that they have good credit?
Well, that has to do with the bonding issue. What we do is we bond the contractors, so we're billing them for the paper. They don't pay us up front. We send them a bill for what they sell, because they'll turn in papers they don't sell, because we aren't going to charge them for that, of course. And then after all of that is said and done, we have a finalized bill, which they pay out of their earnings from stores, newspaper racks, etc. And if for some reason they're unable to fulfill the terms of our contract, we don't want to be out all of that money. So that's where the bonding company comes in. We get our money back from the bonding company, and then the bonding company will take further action to retrieve that money, because now they're out that money.